Before silence turns into something that stays with you, make sure you're still here. Subscribe to Emo Saga for stories where isolation sharpens desire, restraint becomes intimacy, and love waits until it's chosen. The tower is smaller than I expected. Not fragile, just precise. Built for function, not comfort. Wood and steel rising above the forest like a solitary thought no one bothered to interrupt. The stairs spiral up the outside, narrow and exposed, each step echoing against open air. He's already there when I arrive. Standing at the railing, looking out. I pause at the bottom, hand still on my duffel strap, watching the way he leans forward slightly, weight-balanced, posture calm. Like someone who knows how to stay alert without looking tense. I clear my throat. He turns. "You must be early," he says. "It's noon." "Then you're on time," he replies. "I'm just used to being alone." That should have warned me. We were assigned together by accident. That's what the email said. Staffing shortage. Temporary overlap. One tower, 2 operators, 1 fire season stretched too thin. For weeks. That's all. I climb the stairs slowly, deliberately, aware of how little room there is to pass if I need to come back down. The forest sprawls endlessly below us, green and gold and deceptively calm. He watches me approach without staring. "I'm Daniel," he says when I reach the platform. I tell him my name. We shake hands. The contact is brief. Professional. His palm is warm from the sun. Nothing else happens. The interior is exactly what you'd expect. 1 main room. 1 table bolted to the floor. 2 narrow beds on opposite sides. Equipment neatly arranged. Windows on all 4 sides, glass wrapping around the space like a watchful eye. Separate beds. Good. We can rotate shifts, he says, gesturing toward the radio equipment. I usually take nights. That works, I reply. I prefer mornings. Another easy agreement. Too easy. The first days pass quietly. We learn each other's habits without asking questions. He checks the horizon every 15 minutes like clockwork. I log weather patterns obsessively, writing smaller and neater when I'm focused. He drinks his coffee black. I add sugar but no cream. We don't talk much. There's no need. The silence up here doesn't feel empty, it feels earned. The tower creaks constantly, wind pushing against the structure, metal expanding and contracting with temperature changes. The forest murmuring below. At night, when I lie awake listening, I can hear his breathing across the room. Slow, steady, awake. "You don't sleep much," I say one night, keeping my voice low. "No," he answers easily. "Ever. Enough." That's all he offers. The first real moment happens on day 5. I drop a pen near his side of the table, bend down to retrieve it. When I straighten, he's closer than I expected. Not touching, just near. Our eyes meet. The space between us feels suddenly deliberate. "Sorry," he says, stepping back immediately. "It's fine," I reply. But my pulse doesn't agree. We set rules without writing them down. No entering each other's space without asking. No sharing a bed, even during storms. No touching beyond what's necessary. The tower enforces those rules easily. There's nowhere to hide from each other, but also nowhere to rush. The days grow hotter. Fire season peaks. We take turns scanning the horizon, calling in plumes of smoke that turn out to be dust or heat shimmer. Each false alarm leaves us more alert, more aware of how quickly things can change. One afternoon, a storm rolls in unexpectedly. Thunder cracks so close it vibrates the glass. Rain lashes sideways against the windows. We're both standing when the first bolt hits nearby. The tower shudders. Instinctively, he reaches for me. Stops. His hand hovers inches from my arm. "Are you okay?" he asks. "Yes," I answer, breath uneven. "Are you?" "Yes." His hand drops. The moment lingers anyway. That night, the air feels heavier. Charged. The storm passes, but something else remains. I catch him watching me once, really watching, not scanning the horizon. He looks away when I notice. We don't mention it. A week in, the heat breaks. Cool air slips through the windows, carrying pine and dust and something faintly electric. The forest looks closer somehow, darker in the evenings. I wake to the sound of movement. He's standing by the window, shirtless, back to me, muscles outlined softly by moonlight. He notices me watching. Doesn't turn around. Sorry, I murmur. He pulls his shirt on without comment. It's fine, he says. But his voice is lower than usual. The restraint becomes its own presence. We sit closer. Stand nearer. Speak more quietly. Not because we have to, because we want to. One evening, as the sun bleeds orange across the trees, I laugh at something he says. An unexpected sound in this place. He smiles. It's the first time. Not big, just enough. Stays with me all night. On day 15, the radio goes down for 2 hours. No incoming. No outgoing. We sit back to back at the table, listening to static, waiting for it to resolve. If it doesn't come back, I say, protocol says one of us hikes down. Yes. You'd go. Yes. I turn. Why you? Because I know the trail better. That answer feels practiced. I nod. I'd wait. I know. That night I dream of heat. Of hands that never quite touch. Of a kiss that stops just short of happening. I wake restless, heart racing. Across the room he's awake too. I can tell by the way he exhales, slow, controlled, intentional. Neither of us speaks. On the morning of the last week, he finally breaks the silence. We're doing well, he says, eyes on the horizon. Yes. But this ends soon. Yes. And when it does, he hesitates. I want to make sure we didn't just survive it. I study him carefully. What do you want to make sure of? I ask. That we chose this, he says quietly. Not the tower. Not the isolation. My chest tightens. I think we are, I reply. He nods once. Doesn't look at me. That night, the forest is impossibly still. No wind. No insects. No distant animal calls. The kind of quiet that demands attention. I lie awake staring at the ceiling, aware of him across the room. Aware of how little time remains. Aware of how much we haven't done. And how close we are to choosing it. The stillness doesn't break all at once. It tightens. The forest below the tower feels paused, as if even the trees are listening. No wind. No birds. Just heat suspended in the air and the faint hum of the tower's bones settling around us. I shift on my bed, staring at the ceiling. Are you awake? I ask quietly. Yes. I don't ask how long he's been awake. I already know. Morning arrives pale and slow. The sky washes itself clean, soft blues replacing the bruised colors of night. The radio crackles back to life with routine chatter. Reports from other towers, weather updates, nothing urgent. Relief passes through me, followed by something sharper. Time is moving again. He pours coffee without asking if I want any. I take the mug from him, our fingers brushing. This time, neither of us apologizes. The last week changes the tone of everything. We still follow protocol. Still log observations. Still rotate shifts. But there's an undercurrent now, awareness sharpened by an ending we can see approaching. He stands closer when we scan the horizon. I linger longer when he speaks. Once, when I lean over the table to mark a report, his hand steadies the paper near mine. He leaves it there. We both pretend it's about the wind. On the third to last night, lightning ignites the sky miles away. No storm reaches us, but the air carries its promise, electric, restless. We sit side by side at the window, watching distant flashes ripple across the horizon. When this assignment ends, he says, I'll be transferred north. I turn to him. How far? Far enough that it won't be accidental. I nod slowly. I'll be back at headquarters. Silence. You could visit, he adds, not looking at me. So could you. Yes. The possibility settles between us, fragile and real. The final day arrives without ceremony. No alarms. No smoke. No emergencies. Just the sun climbing, the forest breathing. And the knowledge that this is the last time we'll log the same sky. We finish our shift in near silence. At sunset, he closes the logbook and sets it aside. That's it, he says. I exhale. That's it, I echo. Night falls gently. The last night. We don't say it out loud. We don't need to. The tower feels smaller now, as if the walls have been inching closer all season, waiting for this moment. He stands near the window, watching the dark settle over the trees. I move beside him. Close. Not touching. You said you wanted to make sure we chose this. I say softly. Yes. I think this is where we do. He turns to face me fully. His eyes search my face. Not hurried, not hungry. Careful. Intent. If we do this, he says, voice low, it won't be because we were trapped up here. No, I agree. It'll be because we didn't want to leave it undone. He studies me for another long moment. Then he nods. The kiss is different from how I imagined. Not urgent. Not explosive. It's slow, grounding, his hand warm at my waist, thumb resting there like it belongs. I lean into him, feeling the steady strength of his body, the quiet control he's carried all season. The world narrows to breath and closeness and the knowledge that neither of us is rushing. When we part, our foreheads rest together. Still okay, he murmurs. Yes. Still choosing. Yes. He smiles faintly. So do I. We don't move to the beds. We stay where we are, talking quietly, hands tracing small, intentional paths. His thumb along my wrist, my fingers at his shoulder. Each touch is unhurried, like we're memorizing rather than consuming. Outside, the forest remains calm. Inside, the tower holds us. Later, when we finally lie down, it's together, but still deliberate, still listening, still honoring the patience that brought us here. Sleep comes easily this time. Morning light wakes me. For a moment, I forget where I am. Then I remember everything. He's already awake, propped on one elbow, watching the trees sway gently below. Morning, he says. Morning. No awkwardness. No regret. Just warmth. We pack efficiently. Full blankets. Secure equipment. Lock cabinets. The tower looks unchanged. But we aren't. At the top of the stairs, before we descend, he pauses. After this, he says, there will be a lot of noise again. Yes. And distance. Yes. But not silence, he adds. I meet his gaze. Not unless we want it. He smiles, real this time. The hike down is slow. The forest feels louder now, alive with movement and sound. Birds dart between branches. Leaves crunch beneath our boots. At the base of the tower we stop. This is where we separate. For now. I'll call, he says. I'll answer. He hesitates, then leans in and kisses me once more. Not hidden. Not restrained. Just honest. Weeks later, I'm back at headquarters when my phone rings. His name lights up the screen. I step outside to answer. Hey, I say. Hey, he replies. I found a place not far from the tower. Temporary. I smile. I'll come see it. Good, he says. I'd like that. So would I. The tower becomes a story we share. Something that started in silence and ended in choice. And every time I think of it, I remember. We didn't touch until the last night. But we chose each other long before that.